I feel like Jackie Chan. Whoa. Whoa. Yeah, I suck, but this game does not. Stride Fates is an awesome acrobatic game where parkour rules all. And they did an amazing job. Not surprisingly, because they've done this before, but they continued what they started in the original Stride. The game starts off with an avatar kind of giving you the basics, showing you what to do. And at first, if you've never done this before, it can be a little bit intense. For some strange reason, the app says that the game is comfortable on the comfort mode setting, but I guarantee you, that's not the case. I have my VR legs, and after I started playing this game for about 2 hours or so, I definitely started noticing I was a little bit queasy. Stride Fates makes you feel like so many different things. You feel kind of like a spy, like a detective, like a secret agent. You feel a little bit like Spider-Man. You feel a little bit like Jackie Chan. And all of this is happening in a very good-looking game. I will say I got kind of tired of killing the same 2 guys over and over, but I do understand that probably wasn't their focus when they were making the game. And I did notice there was a lot of different manipulatives everywhere, little bottles and jars and everything, but a lot of those are the same thing that you see over and over too. And I think the reason that is this game wasn't really meant to just sit around and explore like other games that we've played, but I think it was more designed for you to just be hauling through every single level, blasting out guys in your way, and then completing your objective and getting to the next level. I don't know why, but I didn't expect the gun upgrades. The weapon upgrades was a lot of fun. I was able to choose what upgrade I wanted, where to put it on my person. There's definitely more to this game than just parkour. But having said that, parkour is a definite focus. But you're not always jumping around buildings outside. Sometimes you're inside. There was a classic "the floor is lava" level where you were inside of a little room that had been electrocuted and you couldn't touch the floor. It took me a while to figure that out. I died several times. Let's talk about some things the game does well and things the game doesn't do so well. Something I think it does really well, the parkour movement and motions, it takes a little bit of getting used to. At first, I kind of felt like it wasn't good, and after I got used to how they did it, I realized that it was actually quite fun. But it's not set up for beginners. I have not played the first Stride game, so I didn't have all the motions and all that in my head to start, and I really felt like it wasn't showing me exactly what I needed it to show me whenever I started playing. I kept feeling like, okay, I'm dying and I'm still in the tutorial mode. I don't usually die in tutorial modes on games. Also, the environment looked great. I mean, the cars down on the ground, it really felt like you were in a city that had life. One thing it does is it has these little ribbons that kind of show you where you're supposed to go next. Those are definitely helpful, but you really have to think on your own. This game is not giving you baby steps. It's kind of like letting you really critical think to figure out how you can get from point A to point B. I can see how some people are going to love that, and I can see how some people will hate that. If you played the Stride games before, obviously you're going to love it. If you're a beginner, it may take some getting used to because a lot of this game really is puzzle-based. You have to figure out so much to get from point A to point B, and sometimes you don't have a lot of time to think because there's snipers and everything else shooting at you. Another thing I didn't like was the cyberspace. That was kind of confusing. Some modes, the cyberspace, you're like attacking enemies and stuff like that. And sometimes you're like just kind of going through this weird course. You really have no indication as what you're supposed to be doing in cyberspace. She gives you some vague goal and you're just kind of like, okay, so I'm just going to keep moving in the direction that it's facing me until I get out of here. I didn't really understand the point of the cyberspace either. So I've got these good things I'm saying and these bad things I'm saying. You're probably asking, well, if it was so bad, why do you still want to play? Because it's so addicting. Trying to figure out all the little ways to get up the buildings and all that is so much fun. And being able to customize my weaponry, I love that too. I really enjoyed the story. While you're moving along, the avatar is constantly talking to you and you're talking to it. And you tell it things like places that you grew up and childhood things. And you're just sitting here having to move along, not being able to reminisce on anything because, there's bad guys around the corner. There are a lot of manipulatives in the world. Things like glass bottles, fire hydrants, propane tanks. These added a lot of flair to the game because they give you some creativity as to how you're going to go about taking out your enemies. It was so much fun popping around a corner and shooting a fire hydrant, and then the fire hydrant conveniently goes and knocks the guy out. That would never work in real life, but I love that it worked in this game. I think this game is made for a certain type of player, a player that enjoys parkour for one thing, and a player that enjoys being able to think creatively and puzzle solve. And if that's you, get this game. This game will be addictive to you because there are so many puzzles, so much creativity involved. The game is loads of fun, and I don't think it'll be something that you just play once and put down. You're probably going to be asking the developers to do more with it so you can just keep playing it and keep playing it and keep playing it like the original Stride game was. If you've watched the video up to this point, go ahead and give me a like and a subscribe, and don't forget to watch me in more videos just like this one right here.